And we are live. Nothing's over. That's exactly the reason Michael Roy's was still. I've got a co-host, Roy.
Hello, boys. My name is Freddy Dos Santos.
Hello guys, I'm Sofian Serta.
You are watching Most Trusted
Podcast with my friends Stel and Roy.
All the best, Trifilara.
Oh, it's so weird not singing Hello Sole. So used to it by now, but you know, we thought, well, Roy suggested we bring that intro back. Why not? Why not? No Choftes podcast. This seems to be a regular occurrence. This is our 5th podcast in 3 days. We're podcast machines. Roy, welcome back. It's been a long time. It's been a hot minute, my friend.
Yeah, it's been. I think the last time we did the Apoel game, and then we did the farewell to Berg.
Yeah, that's it.
So it's been 8 days. 8 days. 8 days now.
I've done a lot of talking in 8 days, brother. So this is why we've done this episode. It's important that you share your thoughts because you haven't spoken publicly about the new manager, about everything that's happened in the last 8 days. So, yeah, the floor is yours, my friend. I'm just going to kick back and put myself on mute and let the comments come up on the screen, my friend.
Well, basically, okay, I've watched carefully the pods you had the last couple of days with the guy from Celtic and the one you did yesterday with the other boys as guests on the show. So I think you've covered most of the things I would have said. Some of the things, you know, how everything has its logic in, if you know what I mean. What we can do, if you want, we can start by the interview he gave on TalkSPORT, Mr. Neil Lennon. That'd be interesting. I don't know if any others put it up, any other websites translated it or put it up. So, okay, it wasn't something groundbreaking. It seemed like he said the things that someone would expect. But if you want, you can read what was said and we can discuss a little bit about it. And then if you want, I'll give you my opinion about the whole situation, because I'm seeing that a lot of our fans are being divided, as you very well said on the pod you had yesterday, and that's unfortunate because for the first time in a long time, the fans and the majority of the fan base of the Omonoia fans showed that they changed their mentality, and they were willing to show that with Mr. Berg. Now, whether that was just for me, they were willing to do it just for Mr. Berg by the looks of it and not for the others to come. That is a little bit unfortunate. What I will try to say is that if we don't give time to Mr. Lennon to work and give him our full support, if we don't do that, that's a recipe for disaster in my eyes. So whether we agree or disagree, we have to respect the decision being made and try to back the manager like we did with Mr. Berg as well and the players, and all in good time, you know, all in good time. So yeah, that's it for me. Do you wanna start reading what Mr. Lennon said on TalkSPORT?
Yeah, before I start, I'd just like to say I am absolutely thrilled you have straightened the...
Yeah, it was annoying, isn't it?
Because, my OCD was like, fuck me, straighten it, please, because I don't like it like this. Do you get what I'm saying? But yeah, anyway, so Neil Lennon is a good friend of Jim White. Now, Jim White is a Sky Sports news presenter. He's very famous for doing the transfer deadline day show. He always wears a yellow tie, Scottish fella, and he's got a show on TalkSPORT, which has an affiliation with Sky. Anyway, and his co-host is Simon Jordan, former Crystal Palace chairman. So a guy that knows the game inside and out. Jim White has got his connections. Anyway, so what Lennon said was, well, he was basically asked how the job offer came. And he said, I had a phone call from an agent at the weekend. That's the first thing that shook me. I was like, hang about, what's going on here? Because here's me thinking that we had someone lined up and they were talking to him, and this has moved rapidly. So at the weekend, so we're talking what, Saturday, Sunday? Like, because the news story broke on the Sunday. So he may have been in contact Saturday. So this happened like that. Anyway, he said, I had a phone call from an agent at the weekend saying that Omonoia would be interested in taking on my services. So I did a bit of research on it and spoke to representatives of the club, the president, had a look at some of the recent games. And I have to say, I was quite impressed with the standard and the attitude of the players. They're the current champions, but haven't had a good season. They're still in the cup, which they obviously want to progress in. So the target now is to finish the season well and to try to win a trophy. Roy, do you want to talk about that first before we go into the other section?
Yeah, basically, if you want, I'll try and translate it real quick for the Greek speakers. It's something that's quite interesting. So, όπως είπε ο Στέλ, ήταν καλεσμένος ο κύριος Lennon σε μια εκπομπή, το TalkSPORT, και μίλησε για τη δουλειά που έπιασε στην Ομόνοια. Έτσι να μεταφράσουμε τα πιο κύρια σημεία που είπε, και ξεκινά πως η ερώτηση ήταν πώς προέκυψε η προσφορά από την Ομόνοια, και δηλαδή τηλεφωνήσε του ένας ατζέντης, ένας μάνετζερ, το Σαββατοκυριακό, λέει ότι η Ομόνοια ενδιαφέρεται για να τον προσεγγίσει. Μίλησε σε διάφορους του Συμβουλίου και του Προέδρου, του κ. Παπασταύρου. Έδωσαν του κάποια DVD των προηγούμενων παιχνιδιών και είπαν ότι ξεπλάγει θετικά, εγώ να λέω γιατί δεν μπορώ να ξέρω, με το επίπεδο κάποιων παιχτών και του πρωταθλήματος. Είπαν ότι είμαστε πρωταθλητές, αλλά φέτος δεν πήγαμε καλά, και ότι ακόμα είμαστε στο κύπελλο και είναι ένας θεσμός τον οποίο μας ενδιαφέρει και είναι κάτι που του ζητήθηκε να προσπαθήσει να τον κερδίσει. Αυτά στο πρώτο κομμάτι. Απλά να το συζητήσουμε τώρα λίγο με το Στέλ και ύστερα να κάνουμε το ίδιο και με τις επόμενες ερωτήσεις που είχε. Now, okay, you know that in our private conversations, I have told you that there were some names on that list, and that list could have changed from minute to minute depending on the negotiations with the other people. So for me, I also find out that he was on this list on the weekend. And you remember I texted you telling you about this. And it seemed like he moved like really quick on the ranks. That tells me two things. That obviously the first choices that were other names, it didn't go through. They didn't manage to.
Can I pause you there? Can I pause you there? Because I just want to make this known that Van den Brom actually was in Cyprus last week, and I told you this. So we've had this call, but just for the viewers, Van den Brom spoke to Omonoia. He was in Cyprus the day the announcement of Berg's sacking was made. He was in there, and he flew back the next morning. And this is from someone that I know that knows him, which is why I was getting a little bit excited. But as it turns out, Van den Brom wanted to join in the summer, and also his wage demands weren't meeting, well, Omonoia's what we were willing to pay wasn't what he wanted. Anyway, that's it. You know this already.
Yeah, right. There was a financial difference. So yeah, going back to the answer he gave, he obviously he said that he spoke to representatives of the club, the president. I'm a bit surprised by the fact that he was impressed with the standard. I can't say there was something really impressive this season. I mean, I don't know if he watched games from last season or this season, but
the truth is that Scout up. He probably got Y Scout up and saw some clips and.
I don't know, but I personally ain't impressed by what I saw this year. So I don't understand how he was impressed.
Yeah, but he's probably comparing it to the standard of football that he thinks is in Cyprus. That's probably why.
That's another thing that's probably one of the very few good things that him taking over at this moment might help him to understand now that he needs
Rather
to,
than joining in the summer and then seeing what happens at the beginning of the season, thinking, "Shit, I didn't expect this." Yeah.
So I don't want anyone to underestimate the Cypriot League. And what some fans are doing is that they're underestimating what he has done in a league that's better than the Cypriot one. Yes, I know what people will say is just Celtic and Rangers, but we shouldn't underestimate this man, because I've seen a lot of people talking down and, degrading or just, saying that, who is this guy? And I don't want to use some of the words they used to describe him. But yeah, I think that him coming now, even though I wasn't a firm believer that this is the right thing to do, for the reasons I will explain, or I might have mentioned on a previous podcast. But him coming now shows me that he's determined. He's not afraid to jump in this opportunity being given, and at least he will have the time to quickly change his opinion about the Cypriot League in case he underestimates the level of this league, because it's not easy for anyone to come in the Cypriot League. I don't remember anyone who came and thought, this is really easy. It's a piece of cake for me. So that's another thing. I don't know if you want to continue with the next question about the doubts about getting the job.
Yeah, so they asked him, did you have any doubts about the role? And he said, you always have reservations about things like this, but I've always fancied working abroad. It'll be a nice climate, but that's not the be-all and end-all. I think it's a nice challenge and a big challenge, one that appeals to me. It's a big club, which I like, and it's based in Nicosia. I think it's quite a competitive league, and at the end of it, if you're successful, you take the club into Europe again.
Εντάξει. Οκ, ερωτήσαν τον αν είχε οποιασδήποτε αμφιβολίες γιατί fuck you too. Any doubts about getting the job. Ερωτήσαν τον αν είχε οποιασδήποτε αμφιβολίες πριν να απαντήσει θετικά στην πρόταση. Λέει πάντα έχεις κάποιο δισταγμό όταν έρχεται μια πρόταση από το εξωτερικό, αλλά πάντα ήθελε και επιδίωκε να δουλέψει εκτός Ηνωμένου Βασιλείου. Είπε ότι για την Κύπρο είναι μια χώρα η οποία έχει ωραίο κλίμα, πιο ζεστές ημέρες παρά στο συνηθισμένος, ότι θα είναι ένα μεγάλο challenge, μια πρόκληση μεγάλη η οποία τον ελκύει τον ίδιο. Η Ομόνοια είναι ένα πολύ μεγάλο κλαμπ, το οποίο βρίσκεται στη Λευκοσία, την πρωτεύουσα. Θεωρώ ότι είναι αρκετά ανταγωνιστικό το πρωτάθλημα και αν τα καταφέρεις και πάει στην Ευρώπη να θεωρηθεί μεγάλη επιτυχία. Τούτον είναι το άλλο που πρόσθεσε. Okay, I mean, this is a copy-paste sort of answer you would expect from anyone who was there, so there's nothing there.
Fluff. That's
yeah.
Fluff. Yeah. But the interesting question was when they put it towards him, asking if getting the job at Omonoia would put him in the wilderness, because that's what happens with a lot of coaches. They go abroad, especially British coaches. There seems to be this stigma attached to European leagues or lesser known European leagues. That if you go there, then that's like a graveyard. But he said, okay, I get that. I've had a year out and the market in England is volatile post-COVID, which is understandable because I know a lot of coaches in the UK that have struggled to get jobs there. Anyway, I think this club is robust, financially robust and competitive as well. There's a chance of winning trophies, which appeals to me. And it's the overall being back in the game, a new culture and challenge to take on and see where it takes me. They play a very British style of football. So it's not anything I haven't seen before or surprises me.
Yes. So, okay. Η τελευταία ερώτηση που έχει και κάποιον ενδιαφέρον, επειδή obviously you have to read between the lines and the answers as well and try και να προσπαθεί ο καθένας να βγάλει τα συμπεράσματα του. Κατά πόσον το θεωρεί πισωγύρισμα στην καριέρα του η κίνηση να έρθει στην Ομόνοια και λέει μπορώ να καταλάβω γιατί κάποιος μπορεί να το νομίσει το πράγμα επειδή ήταν και ένα χρόνο εκτός προπονητικής. Θεωρεί ότι η αγορά της Αγγλίας μετά το COVID είναι ακόμα πιο δύσκολη και λέει ότι η Ομόνοια είναι δυνατή οικονομικά, είναι ένα σωματείο, μια εταιρεία, μια ομάδα η οποία είναι competitive, είναι ανταγωνιστική, του διά την πιθανότητα να συνεχίζει να κερδίζει τρόπαια που είναι κάτι που του αρέσει σαν άνθρωπος. Γενικά λέει το γεγονός ότι μπορεί να επιστρέψει πίσω στο παιχνίδι μετά από ένα χρόνο αποχής και να ζήσει μια νέα κουλτούρα και ένα καινούριο challenge στην καριέρα του, θα δει κατά πόσον να τον πάρει και κάπου παρακάτω. Τούτο που είπε είναι ότι θεωρεί ότι η Ομόνοια παίζει έναν πολύ αγγλικό στυλ ποδοσφαίρου, οπότε δεν θεωρεί ότι να το ξαφνιάσει πολλά ή ένα πολλά μεγάλη αλλαγή. Δηλαδή, τα είχα ότι ας πούμε he didn't say that, I'm saying it, ότι το ποδόσφαιρο is worldwide, you know, so once you know your football, it's... Οπότε αυτά είπε στην τρίτη ερώτηση. Και is there something you wanna add here, Estelle? Is there something like reading between the lines, the very British style of football? How is that? Is it because of Berg? Is it because of the 4-4-2? How is it British?
I think that's what it is. The 4-4-2. You're attacking fullbacks. Your two central midfielders that are ball winners. Two centre forwards. The thing is, we haven't really been playing a 4-4-2. It's been a 4-4-1-1, hasn't it? So you got a number 10 in behind. So I don't know. Maybe he means the physical element of some players because Hubachan and Yuste, they're kind of like. They're like traditional British defenders in the sense that Hubachan is very physical, makes a few mistakes, but Yuste is a ball player. So that seems to be the trend with British football. You got one central defender that's burly and tough, good in the air, and you got another one that can bring the ball out and pass it. You got attacking fullbacks. It's traditional British. That's effectively what it is.
Okay, and yeah, the last question? No, there's two more questions.
There's a couple more. Yeah, there's a couple more. So they asked him, is this an opportunity for him to improve? Because obviously he's so used to playing in the UK, going to Europe. Is that an opportunity to improve his style, to adapt? And he basically said, absolutely. It obviously didn't end well at Celtic, and I've been to Hibs and Bolton, all three clubs he didn't do particularly well at. Well, Celtic's second spell anyway. But anyway, he goes, I've coached over 500 games. I spent a lot of time in Scotland, and Omonoia is a new challenge. So it's very exciting. It's very challenging. And obviously, it will need a bit of adaptation. Having looked at it over and over again, as in the job, it ticked a lot of boxes. There's always the opportunity to come back to the UK. But for the short term or for the next year or so, my full focus will be on Omonoia. Longevity, eh?
Οπότε τώρα η ερώτηση η επόμενη ήταν αν θεωρεί την Ομόνοια ως μια ευκαιρία να βελτιωθεί και ο ίδιος σαν προπονητής. Η απάντηση του ήταν βεβαίως, δηλαδή η τελευταία εμπειρία που είχαμε τη Celtic δεν τελειώσε όπως να ήθελαμε. Δούλεψε και στη Χιπέρνια και την Bolton, οπότε στο σύνολο έκαμε παραπάνω που κότσαρες παραπάνω από 500 παιχνίδια. Προφανώς πέρασε παραπάνω του προπονητική καριέρα στη Σκωτία και βλέπει την Ομόνοια σαν μια νέα πρόκληση. Είναι πολύ ενθουσιασμένος για την νέα πρόκληση. Λέει προφανώς ότι θα χρειαστεί το χρόνο του για να προσαρμοστεί. Αλλά μελέτησε όσο μπορεί να μελετήσει μέσα σε Σαββατοκύριακο μια πρόταση και θεωρεί ότι πληρούσε πολλά από τα κριτήρια που έψαχνε και ο ίδιος για μια νέα πρόκληση στην καριέρα του. Υπάρχει πάντα και η προοπτική της επιστροφής του στην Αγγλία, αλλά για τον επόμενο χρονικό διάστημα λέει ότι όλο του το είναι και το μυαλό να είναι συγκεντρωμένο 100% στην Ομόνοια. Πάλι μια απάντηση η οποία θεωρώ ότι είναι τυποποιημένη, δηλαδή δεν μπορούσε να πει κάτι πολλά διαφορετικό. Θεωρώ ότι επειδή η συνέντευξη έγινε και σχετικά σήμερα, δεν κάνω λάθος που έγινε, πιθανόν να μην μπορούσε και ο ίδιος να πει να δώσει παραπάνω λεπτομέρειες.
He sounded like he was in the car going to the airport. We probably didn't want to talk.
Yeah, maybe. Αλλά εντάξει, I can understand that, it wasn't something groundbreaking or anything. Not surprisingly so, but okay. We're probably the first ones who put it in Cyprus, so I think a lot of people would be interested.
Yeah, absolutely. And the final question, he was asking if Omonoia is a stepping stone for another opportunity, and he said absolutely, or it could lead to another job elsewhere in Europe. Being based in the Mediterranean, there's lots of big clubs there or in and around the region, so I don't know whether he's looking at maybe going to Turkey or Greece or Italy. Henning Berg was the previous manager, and he's worked in Poland and in Hungary with great success. He won the championship here for the first time in a while, so I've got big shoes to fill. But again, it's that sort of step to taking on different styles of football in a different country and see if you can be successful with it. And then they started asking about the weather and all that kind of shit, which, whatever, you know.
Ωραία, η τελευταία ερώτηση που του έκαναν είναι αν θεωρεί την Ομόνοια ως το εφαλτήριο και το ελαττήριο που να πατήσει για να αναγεννήσει την καριέρα του την προπονητική και για να προχωρήσει παρακάτω. Λέει σίγουρα όταν έρχεσαι σε ένα κλαμπ του μεγέθους της Ομόνοιας που βρίσκεται στο Mediterranean, που αντιλαμβάνονται και το ποδόσφαιρο διαφορετικά, έχει μεγάλες ομάδες γύρω στην περιοχή μας εδώ. Οπότε σίγουρα αν η καριέρα μου μες στην Ομόνοια έχει επιτυχίες, λέει, γιατί όχι για κάτι μεγαλύτερο. Αναφέρθηκε στον κύριο Μπέρκ ότι δούλεψε και στην Πολωνία και στην Ουγγαρία με επιτυχία. Κέρδισε το πρωτάθλημα εδώ μετά από πάρα πολλά χρόνια με την Ομόνοια. Αναγνωρίζει ότι η κληρονομιά που άφησε ο κύριος Μπέρκ είναι πάρα πολλά μεγάλη και ότι το κενό που άφησε ο Μπέρκ είναι πολλά δύσκολο να το αναπληρώσει και ο ίδιος. Αλλά it's that sort of step to taking on a different style of football in a different country when you need to be successful with it. Ότι ναι, να προσπαθήσει και ο ίδιος να παίξει ένα διαφορετικό στυλ ποδοσφαίρου σε μια διαφορετική χώρα και να προσπαθήσει και γύρω να φέρει τις επιτυχίες με το δικό του στυλ και τρόπο. Τούτα γενικά ελεγχτήκαν στη συνέντευξη που έδωσε ο νέος μας προπονητής. Επαναλαμβάνω, θεωρώ ότι πολλές πες απαντήσεις ήταν έτσι λίγο τυποποιημένες, δεν έφκαλαν την μεγάλη την είδηση ή την λεπτομέρεια, αλλά θεωρήσαμε ότι να ενδιέφερε τους φίλους που μας παρακολουθούν, επειδή δεν το είδα κάπου αλλού, σε κανένα website να γραμμένο ή κάπου αλλού, προλάβαμε να το κάνουμε και θεωρώ και αυτόν άλλωστε το έκαναμε και το pod σήμερα, όχι τόσο παραπάνω για να μιλήσω εγώ, παραπάνω για να βάλουμε τούτην τη συνέντευξη και να μιλήσετε εσείς, να στείλετε τα μηνύματα σας κτλ. Εγώ δεν έχω πάρα πολλά να πω. Ψάχνοντας πριν κάποια πράγματα, είδα κάποια ενδιαφέρον στατιστικά για τον νέο μας τον προπονητή και νομίζω είδα το στο was it Omonia News Stel, I say you that. So
hang about, let me see if I can get up on the screen. Hang about.
Okay, μπράβο, είδες.
I might be able to get up on the screen. Let me just load this up, 2 seconds. Lovely preparations here, Stel. Jesus Christ. Okay, no. Right. Whole heap of fucking adverts here, but all right, let's go. Share screen. Where is it? Donde? There you go. That wasn't too bad, was it?
No.
That wasn't too bad. I'm going to close Scott Brown's Twitter because I was going to get his Insta, but anyway. All right. So, the record, Neil Lennon's record, and other information. Here we go.
Ναι, βασικά ανέβασε το Omonoia News και γράφει κάποια ενδιαφέροντα στατιστικά που αφορούν τον κύριο Neil Lennon. Είναι τα ρεκόρ και άλλα ενδιαφέροντα στοιχεία. Και έτσι σε στυλ λίστας, ας πούμε, δηλαδή αποτελεί ένα από τους δύο προπονητές της Celtic που προκρίθηκαν στους 16 του Champions League. Αποτελεί ένα από τους 4 προπονητές στην ιστορία της Celtic που κατέκτησαν το treble. Αποτελεί έναν από τους 4 προπονητές που κέρδισαν 5 συνεχόμενα τρόπαια στην ιστορία του σκοτσέζικου ποδοσφαίρου. Ένα από τα 2 άτομα στην ιστορία του σκοτσέζικου ποδοσφαίρου που συμμετείχαν στους 16 Champions League ως ποδοσφαιριστής και ως προπονητής. Είναι ανάμεσα στους 3 προπονητές που έχουν δουλέψει σε ομάδες της Σκωτίας για 9 διαδοχικά χρόνια, κάτι που αποτελεί ρεκόρ για το ποδόσφαιρο της χώρας. Είναι ο μοναδικός στην ιστορία του σκοτσέζικου ποδοσφαίρου που έχει κερδίσει το εγχώριο treble τόσο ως ποδοσφαιριστής όσο και ως προπονητής. Ο μοναδικός άνθρωπος στη Σκωτία που κέρδισε την Μπαρτσελώνα τόσο ως ποδοσφαιριστής όσο και προπονητής. Αποτελεί τον πρώτο προπονητή που κατάφερε να οδηγήσει ομάδα της Σκωτίας στην πρώτη θέση ενός ευρωπαϊκού ομίλου. Αποτελεί τον καλύτερο προπονητή της Celtic τα τελευταία 20 χρόνια με βάση το ποσοστό νικών. Αποτελεί τον καλύτερο προπονητή της Χιμπέρνια τα τελευταία 20 χρόνια με βάση το ποσοστό νικών. Αποτελεί τον καλύτερο προπονητή της πρώτης κατηγορίας του σκοτσέζικου ποδοσφαίρου τα τελευταία 20 χρόνια με βάση το ποσοστό νικών. Αποτελεί τον πιο πετυχημένο εν ζωή προπονητή στην ιστορία του σκοτσέζικου ποδοσφαίρου με βάση κατακτήσεις τίτλων και ποσοστό νικών. Γιατί το διαβάσαμε αυτό το πράγμα, να ρωτήσει. Τούτο το πράγμα διαβάσαμε το γιατί τούτοι όλοι λόγοι που σίγουρα έλαβαν υπόψη η διοίκηση πριν να τον προσλάβει τον νέο τον προπονητή. Τώρα, επειδή το πότε έγινε για να πω λίγο παραπάνω εγώ τη γνώμη μου, αλλά δεν θέλω να μιλώ μόνος μου, is there something that from the things I've read still, that you'd like to comment on, or something you didn't know, or does anything you read make you feel a little bit better about, because obviously I know how you feel and I know how you're going to approach it, you know, but is there something from the things we've read earlier?
No, not really, because we know his achievements in England, and listen, it's the United Kingdom, right? So we're going to get coverage of Scottish football, Welsh football, etc., etc., and obviously the SPL has got Rangers and Celtic are the 2 of the biggest clubs, and for years we've been hearing, oh, Rangers and Celtic should come to the Premier League and they should compete. So we always hear about Rangers and Celtic, their achievements, how, you know, this season Postecoglou has done a fantastic job. Giovan Bronckhorst is at Rangers. So we know about Celtic and Rangers. I know about Hibs. I know about Aberdeen. So again, but none of this information surprises me. But the one thing I will say, Comelia, don't read too much into that victory against Barcelona in the Champions League, that 1-0 victory, because Barcelona tore them a new one. And I know, obviously, all that matters is what the scoreline, and Celtic got the win. But Barca bossed them. So I don't want to be hearing, oh, you know, they beat Barcelona. They were one of the greatest Barcelona teams ever. They beat them. Parkhead can be a 12th man. It's a very, very intimidating atmosphere. But what I will say, while I'm still iffy about the appointment, while I would have preferred Van den Brom, while I would have preferred a head coach with more, how shall we say, stability, I am not questioning Neil Lennon's, bravery, because he's been through a lot at Celtic. He went through a lot. And don't forget, you know, Celtic and Rangers, you got the sectarian rivalry, the Catholic Protestant. You know, the guy had, you know, bullets with his name sent to his house while he was at Celtic. He was attacked by a Hearts fan in the stadium, for crying out loud. He's had all sorts of stuff aimed at him. And even now, Celtic fans, some don't like him. A lot still do. A lot don't. But him coming to Cyprus, I don't think he understands the full complexion of the league. But once he gets his feet under the table, he's going to see, the likes of Ketspire, the likes of Sofroni, two very divisive, very angry kind of head coaches. And he's going to be like, fuck these guys. Do you know what I mean? They're pussios. That's how he's going to be, because he's seen it all before. This is what I'm saying. The expectation of this club, expectation of the fans, it's not going to be foreign to him. So it's not as if he's going to walk in and think, this is just a fucking team in Cyprus. He's going to know from the moment the fans start heckling him on Mackenzie, Mario's uncle, probably, wherever he goes, he's going to go to the mall. He's going to go here, go for his cafe. He's going to go to the pub. People are going to be heckling him. And he will understand about this club. But what I want him to understand is why this club was formed, why there's a rivalry with Apoel, why it's important to beat them, why it's important to finish above them. And he will understand it. He will understand it eventually when it's explained to him, and he will realize that it's very similar to Celtic and Rangers. All right, not religiously, but sure as fuck politically, man.
Yeah, from what I read, he also uses methods like before games with big teams is like hatred. We hate that team. We should go kill them. Obviously talking about the football part of things, So he's got some other methods. Okay, I'm going to go back to that list, because it's easy for some people to say, he won titles with Celtic. That's really easy, especially when Rangers were a no-show for a few years. But then when they came back, they had the financial issues and all of that. But all those things we read, you can't be a nobody and have all that success. Okay. In my eyes, it's not as if we got a manager from, I don't know, Luxembourg or San Marino who won like 3 trophies with the second division team, and we brought him as a savior. Make no mistake about it, he's a very big name, the biggest name in Scottish football. And even though
OJ the biggest name in Scottish football, there. OJ the biggest.
As a man, the most successful manager in Scottish Premier League, the most successful manager in the SPL.
Not in the history.
Okay,
I think Walter Smith, if he was still alive, would say something about that. But all right, he's been more successful than Brendan Rodgers, than Steven Gerrard, than. I get it in recent history, Kadalava, but yeah.
Okay, so this is what I'm trying to say. We're not bringing a nobody, and okay, that leads me to what I wanted to say. We sacked Henning Berg, and we were trying to find a new manager. Neil Lennon said that Omonoia for him ticked all the boxes. Does Neil Lennon tick all the boxes for Omonoia? I'm not sure about that, but who does? Who does? There were talk about, first of all, we had to decide what model we wanted to go at. Να ήρθω στα ελληνικά, ρε παιδιά, για να μπορώ να εκφραστώ καλύτερα.
I'll translate for Rodri later. Don't worry about it. This fucking guy, look at him. This fucking guy, he's throwing up the orange hearts as well. He knows what he's doing. I shouldn't have told him the reason why we dislike orange, but anyway.
Hi Rod, what's up, man? How you doing? So anyway, when Mr. Berg left, okay, we had to decide what type of manager we were going to bring in. Okay, and from the point that we decided that we want a manager now, obviously the pool of managers out there were limited, because most of them are working with their clubs. Okay, so that's one thing. Second, there's a budget you have to pay. Third, do you want someone young and ambitious? Do you want someone experienced? Do you want someone who knows the Cypriot League? Are you going to put a technical director next to him? Are you going to have a Cypriot assistant? What are you going to do? from all the names that were probably in front of Omonoia, no doubt, Neil Lennon is the most successful. He's won the most trophies. Because I don't know when he started his career as a manager, but if he's 50 now and he started his career at 35, it means in 15 years he's won 10 trophies. And not only 10 trophies, all the other things we read earlier. Why am I saying this? Am I his biggest fan? No. Will I try to be his biggest fan in the months to come? Yes, I will try to back him and support him.
12 years, Roy. 12 years he's been a manager, so yeah.
Okay, so that makes it even bigger to win 10 trophies in 12 years. Who else on that list? Now you can tell me, okay, I would have preferred Van der Brom, who is, like you said, seems like a manager who is more up to date with modern football, and he likes to work with the academies and this, that, and the other. But Iban Mazion Gerkes, Mapkondon Gerkes, Iban Mazio Yaso, Mapkoso, Yasos, Iban Mazion Ramben Simon, Iban Maziadon Levi, Iban Maziadon Milojevic. Πώς όνομα ακουστικά, όποιος και να έρχεται, he was going to take shit, okay? No matter who came in. So it goes back to what we were saying at the beginning. Omonoia fans showed that they changed the way of thinking when they decided that despite Berg's flaws and mistakes, they wanted to back the manager. Why don't they do it now? Why are they trying to say he's unsuccessful before he comes? How does that help? We should make him feel welcome, like you said, rightly so. The quicker he understands where he is, the better it is for him. And he needs to get the support. And yeah, if he fucks up, he's going to leave. But πριν να έρθει να μιλούμε για έναν άνθρωπο σαν να μου είναι ο χειρότερος προπονητής που ήρθε στην Κύπρο, well, I don't accept that, man. I don't accept that. Why?
Listen, the reasons I had my reservations about his appointment wasn't simply because of a podcast I did with a Celtic fan that, listen, Kevin works for Celtic, so he's seen the club. Do you get what I'm saying? He's seen them over the last 10, 15 years, so he knows. As a fan, as an employee, he knows about the club. So when he was telling me these things, it took me aback. But the main reason, well, there's other reasons, but the main reason why I was very reluctant to be happy about him taking the job is because I don't see a progressive coach here. And by that, I mean, he doesn't seem to have different styles. He doesn't seem to have evolved. Every team he's coached, it's the same system. All right, I'll give him he's been in the wilderness for about a year, and he may have developed. He might have gone on different coaching courses. He may have studied different elements of the game. I get that. But when I talk about progression, I want to talk about bringing in players that can move the club forward. Now, I'm going to digress a little bit, but I was going to talk about this later, but I'll do it now while I'm in full swing because I don't want to forget what I'm saying, right? If you look here, Roy, these are players that are out of contract in the Championship, right? These are the kind of players that he'll be attracting. He'll be looking at players who are out of contract in the summer that'll probably be available for free. There's another page, but these are players that are about £1 million worth, right? And I'm looking at the names, and I can't think of any players here that I would say, yeah, 100% will be great at Omonoia. This is just hypothetically speaking, by the way. This isn't me saying it's going to happen. I'm just thinking outside the box. Possibly Robbie Brady. He's a left winger. He's got a great left foot. We don't have anyone on that left-hand side because Johnny's has gone, right? Possibly Joe Allen in the middle of the park. He's got great experience. Was at Swansea, was at Liverpool. Very good central midfielder, 31 years old, good age. He's Welsh. Rod would like that, I guess. But then I look at all the other players. I can't think of anyone. Mario Vrancic, maybe, but how much would he want? Then you look at the other names on the following page, and I'm thinking, based on our budget, based on the players that he can bring in, based on the players that he's going to be looking at, who can we bring in? What, Lewis Grabban at 34 years old? Come on, man, James Chester at 33. Like I said, this is conjecture. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but these are the type of players that he's going to be looking at. Okay, can any of these, Robert Snodgrass at 34, Junior Hoylett, Canadian international at 33, can he improve Omonoia? Are these the players that he's going to be looking at? Okay, but then you look at the Scottish Premiership, the players are out of contract because, again, we are going to be going for free transfers. We're not going to be spending money on players because we don't have that kind of budget. Yeah, so he's going to look at Scott Arfield, who was at Burnley, Glasgow Rangers central midfielder, 33 years old. Who? And this is what I'm saying. If you're going to bring in a head coach that's progressive, yeah, a head coach that knows the industry, that is happy to try different things, he's going to be looking at players from various regions. Now, again, I'll reiterate, I'm not saying that Lennon isn't going to be looking far and wide, but we need to trust the scouting team that we have. But at the same time, if you look at the signings over the past few months, especially last season and January, how can we trust anyone at the club to scout these players there? Come on. So again, I might, like I said, I might be getting ahead of myself. I might be overreacting, but I'm trying to see things logically. I'm trying to see it outside the box. So when you talk about Van der Brom, the guy knows the Belgian league, he knows the Dutch league, he knows various leagues throughout Europe. He's been studying the game. He's the kind of guy, and he plays an attack-minded system. I'm not shitting on Lennon. Don't get me wrong. I don't want this to seem like I'm like being so negative about him. I want him to be successful. And I'm not going to be the kind of person that shits on him and say, I told you so. We're going to have to let it ride out. But he needs to understand that we have a long-term vision. And if he's saying that he's only going to be thinking about short-term, then what does that say? What does it say about the type of players he's going to bring in? What does that say about the staff that he's going to bring in? Look, what does it say about the staff that might leave? There's a lot of ifs and buts at the moment. So, like I said, it's not sitting right with me, but I'm still going to be supporting the guy because he's our guy. And it's not fair to shit on him.
It's very well said, Refile. Like, I'm not here to be the naive guy that, you know, tries to say everything is great, everything's fantastic, you know, there's nothing wrong with all these things. Okay, obviously, I can understand how a manager will always want to bring a few players that preferably have played for him and know the style of play that quickly helps you to better understand the system he's playing. They can help the others as well, because you always want to, even if you go somewhere and get another job, you'll get your guys, and then you want to get the guys that know you better. So yeah, unless we end up having, I don't know, 6, 7, or 8 players from like Great Britain, because this is something normal that's done, you know. When you bring a Greek manager, θέλει να φέρει είτε παίχτες που είναι Ελλαδίτες είτε παίχτες που στο ελληνικό πρωτάθλημα. Look at Kespaya. Kespaya signs players from Georgia and either Greeks or players who play in the league in Greece. And yeah. So I'm not saying this is good or bad. I also prefer the more progressive manager like VDB, but unfortunately, this is what we said at the beginning of the pod. Neil Lennon wasn't the first choice, but now he's our guy. He's the one who's going to be there. We still don't know who else is going to be with him, if he's going to have an assistant, if he's going to have a separate assistant next to him to help him understand the game, if they're going to have a sporting director, a technical director, if the scouts are going to help him with other possible targets that we had in previous transfer windows. It depends how he accepts some things. Because if he says, no, I want to be the manager, I want to control everything, it's one thing. So at the end of the day, να δείξει, ρε φίλε. That's what we've been doing. Yeah, tell me.
Right, I've just received an alert from YouTube, and we've had a comment on last night's live show from a Celtic fan. Do you mind if I bring it up?
No, not at all.
Right, okay, all right, where is it? Okay, right, here it is, right here. So he's talking about Lennon, and he's talking about obviously the Govenda that we were having on the show. Here we go. He still won 5 out of 8 trophies in his second spell and had a better record than Ange, which is Postecoglou, Rodgers, and previous managers in his first 50 games as manager the second time, his second spell, not even the first. He will always be a legend at Celtic for what he's done for us as a player, manager, and what he had to put up with the past 20 years in Glasgow. Assaults, bullets in the post, sent bombs, had to have security 24/7, all the sectarian and hatred he got, and also attacked on the pitch live on television, also attacked out in the town centre, and still one of those decorated managers in our history. Even 1920 season in Europe, I think that's Europa League, I think he means there, went undefeated, topped the group against Lazio and Rennes, and they both won the cups domestically against Juventus and PSG in their season. He also masterminded a win against Barcelona. He was Hibs' best manager in over 30 years before. He left because he fell out with the CEO and never got a chance at Bolton as there was a transfer embargo and could not sign players. And do you know what? He's right about that because Bolton were fucking broke there. They didn't even have money anyways as they nearly went into administration. His passion for the game has never died. He's a good old school manager. He just needs time. I know the fans over there don't give managers a lot of time. So I hope he does as he's taken over the team that hasn't performed this year. So again, there's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of, thank you, Re. Thank you, Re. Buy me. There you go. Thank you, Re. Levendi. Thank you. So there's a lot of positivity. There's a lot of things to look forward to. But like I said, I just want a hint of progress. I want to see him turn around and say, right, I'm going to give you a chance. But there are a few players that I want to bring in just to solidify the team because let's be real. And I'm going to say it again, which like I said the other day, there's a lot of pussies in this squad, right? And I'm sorry to say this. There's no grit. There's no cunts. Yeah. And I know Lennon's going to bring some of those in, but I don't want a 36-year-old Scott Brown to come on the pitch. If you want to come to Omonoia, be an assistant, be a coach. Yeah, I don't want a 37-year-old that runs around kicking people left, right, and centre. I want a player that knows how to play, that has got that little bit of steel in him. And do you know what? Like I said yesterday, I'm going to give him as long as he needs. I'm going to give him. I'm not going to judge until he either leaves the club, is sacked, or resigns. That's the way I see it. That's when I'm going to judge him when he's gone. I'm not going to judge him now. I'm not going to judge him during his time. I'm going to judge him at the end. And you can clip this and save it.
You're the one who does the clips. Anyway, are there any messages we can discuss because we've doing 47 minutes.
Oh yes, and you know, thank you everyone for watching. Thank you everyone for commenting. Here we go. If we wanted to play Brexit style football, we might as well have waited a few years and got big Daesh to save us. Well, Daesh isn't doing too bad with Burnley, man. I know they're in the bottom 3, but for what the resources he's had and to keep them in the Premier League for that long, there you go. This one, I know, I get what you're saying, kind of.
Yeah, but I think you answered. If he was watching 5 minutes ago, he'll know your opinion.
Griffiths or Scott Brown? Shut up, Mario. I'm not having this. He's going to bring a Vegari, is he?
You think so?
Not in a 4-4-2, mate.
I don't think so.
No. I think he's the type of manager Omonoia needs. However, feel that he will clash with both the supporters and board. I can't see him being in charge come the beginning of the new season. Do you know what, Roy? What I will say is I think because of the person that he is in terms of his attitude, in terms of his passion, his desire, he's going to win a lot of people over because I think he's going to piss off a lot of people. I think you're going to see a lot of press conferences where Andrea's going to be like, oh my God, why do I have to translate this? Yeah.
That's one thing I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Here's another 2, 3 I don't know for your video, for your clips. You can take a piss out of me. I don't know.
Mark Fotheringham was his assistant. He was an officer, wasn't he?
Yeah, as a football player now.
So he knows the game. He knows the game, man. Yeah. He's a winner for sure. Changing from a former Man United player to a former Man City player, at least we're up to date on what colour Manchester is. Piss off, this guy. My opinion is I don't care for the cup, but I'm afraid for this transitional period because I see this circle again and again. Whose player will keep this summer? No, it's a good choice. I don't think Cyprus is a league where you're going to get a head coach there for more than 3 seasons. Not really, is it?
Yeah, the only one που άντεξε ως τώρα it was Kerkesberg and Getspaya, and now it's Getspaya is because it's Getspaya.
Yeah. By the new season, we'll see how it will go. Personally, I don't give a shit about how he will play now because we're almost we're almost at the end of the season, and he won't have a lot of time. But we will see. Well, yeah, there you go. Time will tell. Roy, don't look at statistics only.
I'm not looking at statistics only. I'm not looking at statistics only.
But he's from Northern Ireland, so
Yeah.
we need to be very careful with it. This is another thing. Pedro made a little boo-boo last night.
Boo-boo.
Okay? The little boo-boo, yeah. Scotland, Northern Ireland, England, and Wales. You got to separate each and every single one of them. You need to separate them because if I called Rodri an Englishman, he would kill me, which is why I'd never go there. I'd never call him that, even if he pissed me off. because the coach maybe not find us enough to cry from Mrs. Berg that we persecuted. Jesus Christ. I guess I'm a model. Bravo, Rossa. You're probably working, bruv. You're probably working. I'll let you off. I wouldn't mind the British player as long as they haven't strictly known about clause. No rumours clause. No rumours clause. That's what it should be because Chris is going to heckle him the whole fucking time. Never get talento. Yeah.
It's true. You don't have like a great tactician here, you know.
When the Sheriff gets back from injury, he should be a done deal. He would come back to Omonoia if there was an offer. I'm sure he would. In fact, I'm 99% sure he would. Notice I don't comment on some of these messages in Greek. It's not because I can't read. It's because I don't want to be too rude.
Actually, we're putting up some messages somewhere.
It deserves a chance. We've gone through that. He deserves a chance. I agree. There was a post on Celtic's subreddit about Lennon's new job. So I asked him about his strengths and weaknesses. The opinions were mixed, but some were pretty insightful and detailed. Yeah. Let's have a look. Yeah. See, I had a message earlier from someone about the OLB and their posts and their videos. The thing is, the OLB have always been wind-up merchants, yeah? And we love them to bits. They're hilarious. You go on the Gafene and there's a whole heap of fans from various clubs. And yeah, sometimes they push it a little bit too far, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And I think it's a cultural thing as well, because in Cyprus, you need to be very careful what you say because people get offended, not because they're snowflakes or anything, but because it's a cultural thing. In England, I can cuss my mate's mum, call her a budana, and he will laugh. But that's how we joke. That's how we joke. But in Cyprus, if I called someone's mum a budana, I'll get slapped up. And that's just how it works, man. So don't worry about the OLB. I don't think anyone at Omonoia is rattled what the OLB say and what they put on. I'm sure they're used to it by now. And it is what it is. Just take it with a pinch of salt. There's no point. No point getting wound up about it. They're good boys as well, man. You're going to go to the airport, yeah?
I
can sense from a last Manchester comment, Mahrez and KDB live rent-free up in your heads. They don't really. I think Mahrez is a nice guy. In fact, I know his personal trainer, Mario, to be fair. And yes, I am name-dropping. Give a fuck. Yeah, I know, but it's a bit too far. I don't know. If you see some of the direct messages I got when Savic put out some lies about me, you think that's a little bit too far. But anyway, I'm not going to go into that. It's a different.
Listen something, okay? Because I also got messages about the OLB, because some people think that
it's a snowflake. Far from it, mate. Far from it there, Chris.
Πού λαλείς. Ναι, για τα παιδιά του OLB, some people think that, you know, we have to do something with the posts there, and okay, they helped us at the beginning.
We've got nothing to do with it.
They helped us at the beginning. They gave us the YouTube account. You know, we did the pod, so the views that are there have nothing to do with this podcast. Okay, I have to clear that out because some people are confused. Now, me as a person, I can take a lot of humor. Actually, I think tragedy plus time is humor. I can joke about anything as well. What some people believe is that because at the time now Omonoia is going through a difficult patch, they believe that what OLB is doing is going over the top at times, and they're worried. They're worried that, you know, because they've got a lot of followers who follow them, that they can obviously they've got the power to influence the opinion of some people, and it's unnecessary at this time. You know, me personally, I don't have a problem with anyone joking about anything. It can be religion, it can be anything. Okay, I don't want to expand about, you know, the categories of things. I wouldn't mind, as long as you're joking, you don't mean it in a bad way, you know. So yeah, as far as that's concerned, this is my opinion about
There's
them.
no malice behind it. There's no malice behind it.
Yeah,
at
but
all.
there are people who don't take a joke. You can tell me, okay, it's their problem. Whoever doesn't take a joke is their problem. But like I said,
it's a cultural thing, though, isn't there? It's a cultural thing. The other means, you know, androbi, all that kind of stuff. We get it. We get it. But I think because the OLB are, what's the word? I think they are advanced in terms of their humor compared to what the Cypriot
it is.
Humor is. All right, okay, look, I love camping. There's no two ways about that. It's one of my favorite shows. And when I came to Cyprus, I drove past the set or the campsite and I took photographs. I love it. But the humor there isn't like the humor that I'm used to seeing in the UK. So when I see comments on OLB and videos, I find it funny because I'm used to that humor. You're used to that humor. You studied in the UK. Do you know what I mean?
You go to a private school. So anyway, yeah, it's humor and αστείο, ας πούμε, okay? And for me, humor is something very serious as well. You have to be very clever να κάνεις καλού humor. Τώρα, what I'm saying is that for me personally, it just makes me, it just makes me laugh, you know? And I'm not gonna get influenced by a post that they all be put. But this is what some people are worried, that they think that they're taking over the top. And oh yeah, specifically that they're joking about, you know, Neil Lennon having an issue with the drinking. And okay, I mean, for someone who won't either take it or won't understand the humor behind it, you know, once the shit hits the fan, everyone's gonna be like, Eton. So
hey, look,
okay.
listen, people that get offended by it, maybe they have. I'm just guessing it. Maybe they have a relative that has a condition, and maybe an alcoholic. Maybe they don't find that funny. Maybe they had a relative. I mean, my dad's brother passed away 3-4 years ago, and he was an alkie, and that's what killed him. But we saw it coming years ago. Do you know what I mean? So I don't get offended by jokes about alcoholism and drug addiction, all that kind of stuff. Look, I'll be the first to say, when I was younger, I did all sorts of fucking stuff when I was a kid. Do you get what I'm saying? And yeah, it was irresponsible, but when you're young, you make mistakes, and this is what happens. But if you don't find that kind of humor funny, then jump out of the group. I mean, like I said, no disrespect, but if you don't like the content that we put out, don't watch it. You know, if there's something that's said or something that you've seen that makes you feel some kind of way, That's your prerogative. That's your right. You're a human. You have feelings. You have emotions. But don't entertain it. Don't watch it. You know. And again, it is what it is. The boys are doing a great job in terms of their interaction, in terms of growing their brand, so to speak. They're very well liked. And all right, Lennon's just started the job. We know about him getting drunk in the streets. I was in Edinburgh a couple of days before I came to Cyprus, and I was talking to a cab driver who told me that he's seen Neil Lennon in the streets and he's had to take him in the cab and take him home because he was drunk. But these things happen. And as I said earlier, as I brought up that comment earlier from last night's podcast, Lennon has been through a lot in his life. Yeah. There's PTSD. Do you get what I'm saying? He's had, as we mentioned, there's bomb threats, there's these threats. And obviously it takes its toll on the guy's mental health. And to be fair, him coming to Cyprus, getting away from the UK, that might do him the world of good. And we might see a manager coming into his own because he's not in that environment anymore. So again, it is what it is. And in all fairness, I don't really think anyone in the club or Neil Lennon would pay any attention to that kind of footage, you know. So I don't know. That's just me anyway.
Anyway, do you want to wrap it up? Have we got any more messages? Because we've done over an hour.
There's a few about the we've done that one, haven't we? Here we go. Rare, this guy. They're all doing it now. They're all doing it now. Oh, come on, Christo, come on. Yeah, of course, 100%. Περιπέζει μέρα και νύχτα. Of course. There you go, man. Anyway.
There
we go. Guys, I love the humor. OB. Yeah, of course, Daniel, of course. And it is what it is. That's the nature of the beast. But, and I'm gonna say one more thing on this, right? There are footballers out there. I don't remember Justin Fashanu, Roy.
Yeah.
Remember John Fashanu's brother? Justin Fashanu was one of the first openly gay footballers. And he committed suicide because he couldn't cope with the abuse that he was receiving. This is in the 80s. I know a guy called Paul Canaville. Paul Canaville was one of the first black players to play for Chelsea in the 80s. And the abuse that he received from his own supporters, not just from other fans, from his own supporters, that could drive someone crazy. There are so many footballers out there who have dealt with various things. Look at Paul Gascoigne, one of the greatest players we've ever seen. But his career went from up there to down there because of distractions, be it alcoholism, be it a bad company, whatever. Sometimes when a player steps out of their environment, they thrive. And I'll go back to what I said before. When now Lennon is in Cyprus, he's away from the UK. He doesn't have to put up with all the shit that has come with. It's a fresh start for him. So perhaps now we're going to see maybe a different mind state, a different attitude, a different outlook to football. So again, we need to give him that. And once more, he achieved all of that at Celtic, despite all the shit that's happened in his life. So you got to give him his flowers, man.
Yeah. I think that's
wrap it up.
Okay, I think what you said now wraps it up with a positive note. Το που θέλω να πω και εγώ είναι παιδιά αποφασίσαν κάποιοι να δώσουν τις τύχες της ομάδας στον προπονητή τον Lennon. Θα δούμε κατά πόσον να ενδυναμώσουν το team του είτε με κάποιους βοηθούς είτε θα αλλάξει το μοντέλο. Να περιμένουμε πριν να κρίνουμε. Δηλαδή ο άνθρωπος ήρθε ακόμα και εμείς ευκάλαμε τον άχρηστο. Να παρακαλέσω με όση δύναμη έχουμε εμείς σαν podcast να σταθούμε πίσω από τον προπονητή μας, να δώσουμε την ευκαιρία του και αποδείξαμε ότι σαν οπαδοί μπορούμε να σκεφτούμε και λίγο διαφορετικά και να δώσουμε την ευκαιρία στον άνθρωπο. Τουλάχιστον τόσο είχε τα αρχίδια να έρθει από τώρα, ενώ άλλοι δεν έρχονταν από τώρα, καλός ή κακός. Τούτον έπιασασαν, δεν έπιασαμε έναν άχρηστον προπονητή της δεκάρας, ας πούμε. Επειδή θέλαμε να βρούμε έναν πολλά πιο φτηνό και πολλά ό,τι να είναι, φέρναμε το. So, δώστε του την ευκαιρία του. Με τούτα που λαλώ, σημαίνει ότι και εγώ συμφωνώ, ήταν η πρώτη μου επιλογή, πετώ στα σύννεφα. Αλλά αν δεν κριθεί μέσα στο γήπεδο και δεν του δοθεί ο χρόνος για να δουλέψει και να κάνουν τα πράγματα, θα να είμαστε κάθε εβδομάδα να τα λαλούμε και να τα ξαλαλούμε και να τα ξαλαλούμε. Αλλά δώστε του το chance του ανθρώπου. That's it. Πάμε σιλακά μου. Θκιάουλε.
Oh, and happy Women's Day, everyone. Yeah. Everyone who's celebrating Happy Women's Day and all that kind of stuff. And I'm going to go tell my mum to make me some kubebya. I'm going to go tell my mum to make me some kubebya now. Hade, πάμε σιλακά μου.